mine. You know what just happened to him? He has just been cut on the finger with this little piece of metal containing rust. And as you all know, rust is a really great contaminant that causes the hectic disease that we experience at our homes. That is the tetanus disease. And most of it, we find it from the utensils that we use at home because they have the rust and we don't know the solution to it. One thing that you need to know, you are never too late to bring a solution to the rust. And here with me, I have a great solution that will help you eliminate the rust from your utensils at home. What is that? Only the oxalic acid. Do you know about the oxalic acid? Have you ever heard about it? Do you know where it's produced? And today, if you've never heard about oxalic acid, you will know today. This is what I bring to you as the solution to the rust. And do you know what you need? You only need this mysterious vegetable that you cook daily at your home. Or maybe you might be planting it, but you don't know its importance in killing the rust. And today I'm going to educate you on how all the steps you need to follow to produce this oxalic acid from the spinach right at your home. You don't need any machine, you don't need any detergents, you only need your home equipment, such as the mortar. You also need a beaker. You also need water. You must be wondering, where will you get all these lab equipments that I'm going to use to generate the oxalic acid from spinach? But you don't need to worry. You have the equipments right in your hand, and you can use the alternatives that are right in your home, like the mortar. I know you have the mortar, the one that you use to smash the ginger. I know also you have the glass. You can use it to alternate the glass beaker in the lab. You can also use the ordinary water. Don't think that this is a specialized water, it's just the ordinary water. Yes, we call it in scientific terms, the distilled water. And lastly, you need the mysterious vegetable we have here, the spinach. And I know spinach is easily accessible, even at your local market or even at your homes. I know most of you do plant spinach, but you don't know its essence. So today, I'm going to educate you. The first step, take the spinach, a few bunches, a few pieces of them, and cut it. You can use a knife at home, but remember, that knife of yours might be having rust, so you can use your ordinary hand. You just chop them, just divide it into little pieces, little pieces, little pieces. Remember, we only use the leaves. After making it smaller, dividing it into little pieces, you only need to take the mortar. Put some few pieces into the mortar. Put some few pieces into the mortar and use this pestle to crush. Crush gently. Crush. Continue crushing until the sap, you start seeing the watery, until you see the watery extract in the mortar. You can use some distilled water so that to dissolve it, to make your crushing easier. You can crush, you can continue crushing. You can continue crushing. Look at that. After crushing for some time, you see the sap, the extract has been dissolved in this water, the distilled water that we added. Remember, you need to make it very, very soluble. Continue crushing until you cannot see any hanging piece of the spinach. You see? Now, this step we have the extract. You might be wondering, how can I use this to remove the rust from the utensils? But rust, after the extract is seen, now you can transfer it into a glass beaker, or rather, when you're at home, you can use a glass. This is the extract, this is the extract. Take the other bunch, put it into the mortar, crush once again, start crushing once again. Now we have our extract ready. but it can't be used in this form. So we need to dissolve it. And how do we dissolve it? We use some sort of distilled water. So here, you add the distilled water, until it reaches half a level. Then you take the spatula or the spoon at home, you start stirring, you stir until it dissolves in the water. Stir, continue stirring until you feel the water has really dissolved the extract. Then now, after this, you leave it to settle. Place it somewhere and leave it to settle. After some time, you can see that it has settled very well, and we can separate the extract from the residue. So we remove the residue, the remains of the spinach leaf, we remove it to remain with the liquid, which is a mixture of the oxalic acid extract and the distilled water. So you just remove it gently, you place it on another place, you can dispose it, or you can just put it in the mortar that you are using for future disposal. Just remove it, just remove the remains, the residue. Make sure that you remove almost all of them. After that, you take the sieve. I have my sieve here. I know each and every home have this particular kind of sieve, so you can use it. And you can take the sieve, then now you sieve the mixture, because it has some remains of the spinach leaves. So you need to sieve it so that we remain with the pure liquid. So just sieve gently, I know you can see it is a green solution of water and the oxalic acid. Sieve until the liquid is completely okay. We can see now we are remaining with the residue of the spinach leaves. This one is of no use right now. We only need the liquid for now. So we put this one aside, and now we have this particular kind of liquid. This is the oxalic acid I was speaking about. Just that the other one, the first one, is the one that has been artificially made, but this one has been produced at home from the locally available vegetable, that is the spinach. Now we have our solution right in front of us, and we might be wondering, why is it green? But I already told you the difference between this one and the other one, which is pure. We can say this one has been artificially made, but this one has been produced at home. And this is now our solution to help us to fight the rust. This one, you remember, the big giant in the home. And what you need to do to remove rust from this piece of metal, just take it and dip it inside. You leave it for around 12 hours for it to be able to remove the rust from the metal. And I can advise you, my dear audience, for efficiency and time consumption, I can say that you need to put your rusted metal into our deep solution during the night, because in the night we have 12 hours, and by that time I'm quite sure that most of you will be asleep. And so you need to get a surprise in the morning. And that's why I advise you, if you put it at around 6 p.m., as it is now, it's 6 or 7 p.m., you need to come back to check it in the morning, the following day, at 6 or 7 a.m. And I'm quite sure you will discover that this rust will have been loosened. And after that, you'll be able just to clean it gently with the water or even the soap at home, and you'll discover that this brown color will turn to be shiny black, and the metal will restore its original color. And how you have the solution at hand just from the spinach. Can you imagine? I only used 50 shillings to purchase this spinach, and I was actually going to cook it at home. But then I've only used 3 straps of the spinach to produce the oxalic acid. What does that inculcate? This one will not interfere with your dietary timetable, because you just buy your spinach. If you are a lover of spinach and you like cooking spinach, just buy your spinach, just take a few, maybe like 3 or 4, It will depend on how many utensils you have that you want to eliminate rust from. So just only pick 3, but then you're remaining with a lot of them, in which this one you can use for the other purposes. But these 3, use them to generate the solution, and that is the oxalic acid. And so, my dear audience, we've come to the end of our video, and I hope that you really liked it, learned, and listened a lot. And I know that you've expanded your knowledge on how to kill the big giant in the house, that is the rust. No more rust at our home. No more rusting metals at our home. No more tetanus in our bodies. Rust has been killed by the oxalic acid. Thank you so much.